I'm just gonna stay in my lane here and put my 10,000 hours for this. And funny enough, now after more than 10,000 hours, now I've gotten so good at short selling that what I don't short is a good foundation for a long thesis. They took out a 5-centimeter tumor, 20-hour operation. I was 25 years old at the time, and I never had operations before that. I thought I was healthy, but every now and then I would black out. So a lot of people let time go by. Like for me, I have that in my head, my conscious all the time. It's like, you know, like we don't live forever, you know? So I experienced that. It's a near-death experience, so.
It's a gift.
What I knew, one thing that made sense to me was pump and dump patterns. You have people that, like the Wolf of Wall Street. Actually, the Wolf of Wall Street came out during that time. I do a lot of supplements and the brain supplements, vitamins. I started taking hydrogen water. I'll do a cold plunge at the athletic club. You know, it's like
You're wired.
yeah,
You're turning the Terminator
the Terminator.
with that platinum in your brain. Wow.
There are many ways to make a living in the stock market. Whether you are a fan of Warren Buffett's investing strategy, or you like to sell put options like me, or day trading volatile stocks, the secret to becoming successful in the financial market is to master one consistent approach and systematize it, treating what you do like a business. I'm honored to interview a millionaire day trader. His profits and career win rates has been verified by multiple third-party firms. Meet David Capablanca, a stock trader known for his highly detailed fundamental research trading strategy. David and I have very different trading styles, but we share similarities in our mindsets and our career experience before trading. You're going to learn about, first, how David started his trading career in his 30s after living through a brain surgery. Second, how he became a 7-figure trader by specializing in one trading strategy. Third, the risk management mindset that traders must have. Fourth, the most importantly, the habits and discipline behind his success. I personally learned a lot from his knowledge and experience. Give this video a free like and please enjoy this learning session. David, thanks for coming on. Can you tell our viewers a bit about what kind of traders you are? Before we dive deeper, like in short, how do you make a living now?
Okay, so what kind of trader am I? I'm a financial trader. I like to say I'm just a financial trader. I'm just a trader. I'm a profitable trader, and I trade. These days I go long, I go short. I'm looking for opportunities and using the knowledge I've built up to now to make money from the markets. However, I am primarily a short sell trader. I go by the name online, the reverse long, and that's how I started. One of the things I'm most proud of is that as soon as I started trading, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna focus on short selling. I'm gonna master short selling. And I went so far as like I make my identity as a short, this is as a noob. As a noob, I was like, I'm gonna make my identity as a short seller. So I was like, I started to get obsessed with it. And I said, you know what? I used to watch the Flash videos. And then the Flash had his nemesis, the reverse Flash. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play a reverse long. So long is like the bulls, they go long, they buy, but the short seller shorts. So the short is the reverse of a long, and you got the Flash, and you had the reverse Flash, the nemesis. So I'm like the nemesis of the long. So this helped me like just make my identity. I'm just focusing on short selling, short selling, short selling. I want to master it. I couldn't find that many books on short selling. So I had to short sellers kind of get a bad rap. So they got a lot of them are like in hiding. They don't want to put their face out there. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be the one that's like, that's my identity. Everyone's going to know I'm a short seller. I'm just going to only focus on short selling. I'm going to read every single short selling book out there. I'm going to study every short seller I know of history, the short reports, long-term short selling, even a little, I never got to the options part, which we discussed in another video, but like I'm still interested in the short version of different versions of short selling. I want to master it all. So this helped me so I saw one quote from Bruce Lee. He fears not the guy that's practiced 10,000 kicks one time, but that he fears the guy that's done one kick 10,000 times. So I was like, that resonated with me, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna stay in my lane here and put my 10,000 hours for this. And funny enough, now after more than 10,000 hours, many years later, um, now I've gotten so good at short selling that what I don't short is a good foundation for a long thesis. And now, but it got me to it took many years for me to branch out because first I started with like very little money. So I had to change my life first, focus on learning something because I was financially illiterate when I started. So at first I had to fix all that, learn and equip myself with knowledge, and then change my life with monetary gains and profits. And then now when I got myself situated, it's like, okay, how can I expand from here? Okay, well, the stats of what I short, it screams at me saying what I don't short is a good foundation for a long. So now I feel comfortable. Okay, like now I can expand my strategy. Let's go along. Let's think about some other things. Like I have some other proprietary strategies based on short and long and this. And so like I'm just at this point, I'm just a trader. I'm a trader. I'm a financial trader.
Yeah, thanks for the intro, David. So if we go back to the beginning, you used to study architecture, right? How does architecture help you get into trading?
Okay. So when people it's disappointing to me a lot of times when people say like they did a career and they do trading now and they're like, yeah, that didn't help me at all. And I'm like, I mean, maybe it didn't, but there's always something you can take from some career, from your life learnings. So for me, architecture, I was pretty good at architecture. I went to the good schools. I did good in the classes. I had good professors and mentors in architecture, and I try to take as much as from that part of my life and apply it to trading. This trading is a lot of things align with the creativity, with imagination, with pattern recognition, with using, coming up with a thesis and research and understanding the whole thing of trading like a chess game. And architecture is very comprehensive. Like to design a building is you got to know about structures, about culture, about material, about sunlight, and you got to imagine it before it's even built because it takes a long time to build it, and like you got to be optimistic to see it through, and you got to coordinate with so many different people, but you got to see this, envision it way ahead. So with trading, it's like when I come up with a thesis of a trade, it's like that. I'm thinking about who are the people behind this, what's the filings, what's the technical analysis, the patterns, the history, even sometimes of the culture involved, because the company is based in a certain country. What's the culture in that country? What's going on economically in that country? What's going on? What's in the overall market? So it's like zooming in, zooming out, zooming in. And with architecture, it's like that. You go, you zoom out. Like I used to build models in small scale, build them in big scale. And in the computer, you zoom in, you zoom out, because you zoom in to make the door, the stair, then you zoom out for the whole building. You rotate it. So it's a beautiful thing. So like anything I've heard about like musicians doing well in trading or creative fields, they relate to trading, and it's like it really you can find a way to relate to it. So in everybody's life, there's something that you had a strong suit in, and if you can apply that towards trading, it can make it a lot more easier for your learning curve. And for me, architecture definitely helped out a lot. So yeah, I was an architect, and I went to school for it, 4 years undergrad at the University of Florida. Uh, it was supposed to be 3.5 years masters, but it turned into almost more than 5 years masters. I had a brain operation, and during the school.
Can you talk more about that brain operation? Are you opening to talk about?
Of course.
Did that make you into superhuman in trading?
Yeah, it made me the bionic man. So I got a piece of titanium in my head.
It's still there?
Yeah, it's still there. Titanium.
So what if you walk through the airport?
Titanium doesn't do it.
I don't know.
Other metals do. Um, Titanium is a really high quality metal. Uh, in fact, if you know the building in Spain, in Bilbao, you ever heard of the Guggenheim?
Oh, you're an architect geek, right? That's why you know about that.
The
So
whole
I study about that.
is,
I took one course in university about architect, and we learned about that building.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's all titanium. So I got titanium just like that building in my head.
So what's the secret about that titanium plate?
So yeah, so they took out a 5 centimeter tumor. So it's like
Oh, okay.
size of a, I think it's the size of a golf ball, 5 centimeters. I'm not sure, but yeah, something like that. And it was a 20-hour operation. I was 25 years old at the time, and I never had operations before that. I thought I was healthy, but every now and then I would black out. I'll black out while I was driving. I'll black out like when I'm doing photo. I used to do a lot of architecture photography. I'll just black out like, and I was like, man,
Blackout as in you pass out, you just can't see
I
anything.
can't see. The world
Oh,
is
but
black.
you can still think. You can still hear, breathe.
Yeah. I was like, imagine you just black out for like 5, 10 seconds while you're driving, you know? So this after like the third time driving, I was like, all right, man, this something's going on here. And I would have a lot of like migraines. They would come and go. And I would blame the migraines on like the all-nighters I was doing for architecture, from the studios would have a lot of fumes, and and it's just very stressful, staying up all night all the time and doing these projects. So I would blame it on, oh, it's the lights, oh, it's the all-nighter, oh, it's the caffeine. But then when the blackout started happening, I went to the emergency room, and they said, hey, you can't leave until uh we do the surgery on you, or else your insurance is not going to cover you. So I had to stay in the hospital, and I didn't leave the hospital, I don't know, for like 3, 4 months. And then I had to recover like another 2 years. I had to learn how to walk again, talk again, type again.
Were you trading during that time?
Oh, no. I didn't even know. This is 2010.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't even, my whole world was architecture. I was like, in fact, when I was in the hospital, before the surgery, I was like, man, my project's due. Doctor, I need to turn in my project. I gotta go. Come on. Like, I'll come back for the surgery. And they're like, no, you can't come back. You got to do the surgery now. You're gonna die. He said, you have 2 weeks to live. If you're gonna die in your sleep. So that's what I was facing. And I was just only worried about architecture. I didn't even know what a stock was. I didn't know, we talked about real estate before. I didn't know what a mortgage was. I didn't even know what a mortgage was. I didn't know what an APR meant, annual percentage rate. I didn't know what good credit score was. I didn't know what a bad credit score was. I didn't even monitor my credit. I didn't know anything. All I knew was uh architecture. That's it. I was like, I knew every single architecture building, every single architect. I knew every single piece of artwork out there. I used to go to the art galleries, and like, I'll know art history. I can talk forever, but finance, I had clueless. And it's just, it wasn't because I was against it, like, it's just I didn't know.
Yeah.
I I knew, like, when I went to college, I was like, I just want to do. I picked a major, architecture. I liked it. I always like Legos and stuff, and art and drawing. I was really good at drawing, and I was like, I've signed up for this, and I just went with it. And I just wasn't exposed. Both of my parents are immigrants. They didn't know anything about finance either. They didn't know any, they just were starting from scratch when they came here. Um, my mother from Cuba, she came with nothing, and my dad from Iran with nothing as well. So like, they went to college and got educated. That's what they knew how to do, and they lived a middle class. I was raised middle class, but like, finance, we never discussed any form of finance ever. So like, I didn't even know anything. So it's just like, out of like a sheer like necessity, and like facing myself in the mirror, like when I graduated with my master's and faced the real world, and all the debt, like, it got to a point where it's like, all right, man, you're 32 years old, or I'm 32 at the time, and I'm like, is this okay? Where do you see yourself 40, 50 years old? Is this the life you want? So I was like, all right, I gotta find a high income skill. And that's how I landed on trading. So when you start to open your mind to it, YouTube starts feeding you videos, Google starts sponsored things, and I start clicking around, and I find stock trading.
Got it. Wow. Thanks for sharing that. Before we move on to real estate, because I'm passionate about it, I want to ask you one last question. That brain surgery, did that change your perspective on finance or money? Because before that, you don't know anything about it. You don't know anything about student debt, how to pay for it. But did that change you? Do you think that was what contributed into trading?
Yeah, it did contribute into me looking for a high income skill, because one thing I'll never forget, uh, from that whole surgery thing, the whole life or death. So I woke up. I remember, and every day I think about this. Even now, like every day, it just doesn't leave. So when I woke up from the surgery, from the anesthesia, I was intubated. I was intubated, and I couldn't talk. And I was on so many drugs. I was on trazodone, Seroquel, morphine, and I would
I saw a lot of
press.
those videos that guys wake up, they say crazy things.
Yeah, it was like I didn't even know what was going on. But I remember the doctor, the surgeon, Dr. Isaac Yang, out of UCLA, Ronald Reagan. Isaac Yang, he's a friend of mine. We talk like once a year, and he's like around the same age as me. We're like it's cool. I have a relationship with him. He saved my life. So he was yelling at my mom actually, and he was saying my mom's name is Lourdes. He was like, Lourdes, I gave your son 50 years more of life. He's gonna be all right. He has 50 more years. And then my mom was like, what did you do to him? Look at him. He's a vegetable. Oh, it's like, and I'm there, like, they don't know I'm listening. And, then I'm thinking out of all the drugs that I'm on and with this thing down my throat, like intubated, um, I'm calculating in my head 50 years. I'm 25. That means 2 more times of what I just lived. I was like, man, that's not that much. Even though I'm on all this
Yeah.
drugs, I somehow calculated that.
Yeah.
Um, and that's the memory I have.
I'm still very grateful that David opened up his inspirational life experience because this reminds all of us that it's never too late to pursue our goals while we're still blessed with health and safety. Whether it's trading, investing, or starting your own businesses, the formula is the same. Find a niche, take action now so that your future self can have an opportunity to thank you for the work that you have done. I'm a stock option investing coach. I work with many option sellers who have passed their 30s and even 50s, but their late start in the financial market did not stop them from performing better than average, especially this year when the S&P 500 is already down 12%. So I hope you guys get inspired by David as well as the others. Find your niche and take action now. Comment said and done if you are interested in learning my simple option selling strategy. I'll send you a free video tutorial.
Absolutely. And he was very happy, and like everyone was shocked that I just graduated with my master's. Like, yo, this guy just had a brain operation, and I was content. I was like, man, I defeated the odds. Like, and I was doing push-ups and running, and like they told me I wasn't gonna run again, like for a long time. And I was like really into fitness, and I had this new life. But so going back to your question, it gave me a sense of urgency like no other. It's never left me. This is like a gift that I have. Even to this day, I get things done more than I don't know anybody that gets things done more than I do. I'm sure there are people out there, but like maybe you guys do, but like I get things done.
David was pretty wired.
So but and it's because of that. So that didn't get me to think about stocks, but when the bill came in from all the student debt, I was like, man, the doctor gave me 50 more years, more or less,
Pay off the debt.
to pay out. Yeah, it could be. But I didn't want to do that. I was like, I need to make the most out of this life that I'm given. I want to travel. I want to do things that are going to impact the world. I always dreamed of doing skyscrapers. I still kind of have that dream. Um, I can still design. So when I decided to get a high income skill, my first thought was, all right, I'm going to solve my problems financially, and then I'm going to come back to architecture on my own terms, where I can design and build my own stuff. And I still have that idea. So um, the brain operation just it put this fire under me to like have that urgency and make the most out of the life that I'm given. So a lot of people let time go by. Like for me, I have that in my head, my conscious all the time. It's like we don't live forever. So I experienced that. It's a near death experience. So
That's
it's a gift.
that's so crazy. And just so you guys know, I'm hearing this for the first time on this podcast as well. I know you've been trading for a while and you're profitable. Take us back to the beginning. What was trading like from the beginning?
Trading light from the beginning. Okay, so it was very overwhelming. I didn't know anything. And I saw the lines in the chart like line weights from AutoCAD. I was like, I was trying to make sense. I was thinking too much. I was like, what does the red line mean? The purple line? Is this like line weights? I was so confused. And what I knew one thing that made sense to me was pump and dump patterns. You have people that like the Wolf of Wall Street. Actually, the Wolf of Wall Street came out during that time. So you have a nefarious individuals that get stock ahead of everyone else, and they pump it. They keep wash trading it and selling it onto to people that don't know anything, and they get sold false dreams, and then they just dump it on them. So, and then that just reflects on the chart. It reflects their whole game plan on the chart. So like that was very clear to me, and I was like, I can work with that as a starting point. And I just did that for like 2 years. I signed up for on Google. I Googled stock get rich quick, and I signed up for all these newsletters that came up. I don't know, maybe like 20 of them. And then I would get emails to a burner email account. Gmail, you can just make an email. And I would just get pump emails there. Sometimes to my text, I would put my phone number too. And I would just short those small size. I'm talking about 10 shares. And then it goes against me. But I didn't know technical analysis that well. But I did know if I short 10 shares, the squeeze is probably not gonna like I'm gonna survive. And at most I can lose. I had only a $2,000 account. So I went on like this for 2 years, making like $30, $50 over swing trades. Very sloppy swing trades, by the way. I would get squeezed on most of them, but since the account was so small,
You can't lose that much.
and $2,000 account, it's a joke, So it's not a joke. Nothing's a joke. But this is what I did, and I wasn't looking to make money. I just saw it as like this is like a practice account.
Yeah.
And as I was waiting for the stock to crash, I would just study. You see the books behind you there. I studied technical analysis, Japanese candlesticks, uh, history, the manias. It was my whole goal was to get ready for the next mania. And I know they come every 5-10 years. I just got to be prepared. So I saw that initial strategy of the pump and dumps. It's just my way of practicing and just having some skin in the game, money on the table, very small amount while I was learning.
Before I move on, I just want to say to my viewers here, $2,000, $10,000, it might seem small, but that's the $2,000 that David had at that time. So it's 100% of his portfolio. So it might seem small. A lot of people, what keep you broke is that if you think that's small, you spend thousands here, 10,000 there. That's the money you put in time to make it back. So, if you're going to do learning, there's something called not day trading. It's something called paper trading. You can start with all your brokerage account and start there. I know it might not be totally similar, but if you cannot make money in paper trading, you will not make money in real life. That's just what I want to bring up right before we move into the next topic. Okay. So now we're going to get into something more positive here. Can you walk us back into the moment you feel like it's paid off, right? The reason I said that is I heard it's fully paid off for you during the pandemic. How do you feel at that moment? What was it like? What was the experience? Share with us.
Okay, so when the pandemic happened, it was a bittersweet moment. In life, nothing is, especially with anything entrepreneur, it's not just like a smooth ride, you know? So I had made, growing that small account, I actually grew a $2,000 account and to almost 16,000 over 2 years. Even a Starbucks barista like makes more than that. And but what I was doing was working with the paid pump and dumps. However, in COVID, I ran into a black swan in I think it was March. Yeah.
February to March.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember.
It
I
was
remember. I was helping a lot of my clients. They were being too greedy. So when I have a big account, it's scary. That's when the brokers raise their margin requirement, and that's when the bank's money, when they wire in, it won't even get settled because Brokers were too busy.
Yeah, I was caught in the middle of that, man. So I was swinging because remember I was below PDT, the pattern day trade rule, which you need $25,000 to day trade.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So I could only swing trade
yeah.
with the small account, and I had grown it to 16,000. And I remember when you grow a small account to that, and I saw 25,000 like coming soon. I was like, man, I'm gonna be over PDT one day. Wow, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
I'm good.
over
Working.
25,000.
It's like this is working. I grew 2016. This is crazy. And then I'm short this stock, a paid pump and dump. That I confirmed paid pump and dump. It fit everything. CYDY, and it's CYDY. It was an OTC stock.
Well, that's like my first and last name, Cody Ye, CY.
Oh, CY. So it's Cody Day. Yeah, it's a Cody.
Thanks for dumping me.
Yeah. So I was short, and this is a biotech OTC stock. OTCs are the scammiest of the scammiest.
Yeah.
And I was short, and I'm short at like less than $1, but it belonged to zero. So like I was, and it was up significantly. However, during COVID Black Swan event, they call it a Black Swan for a reason. So I was short, and over the weekend, and the only reason why I was short was because I ran out of day trades, because of pattern day trade rules. So I was like, I had to swing it for Monday, or else I get punished, and they don't let me trade anymore for
Yeah.
3 months or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm holding it over the weekend. On Saturday, Fox News, Fox and Friends. So Fox News is like the real journalism, more or less. And none of it's really real. But Fox and Friends you can pay to be on it. It's like
Oh, I didn't know.
it's a section of Fox that they allow people to pay and get opportunity. So this doctor came on smiling, saying, "This stock, Cytogen, I think CYDY Cytogen, I don't, they have the cure for HIV, cancer, and it helps, and they're gonna do it for COVID patients too." And I'm like, oh my God, I'm short this stock. And it's a OTC, it doesn't trade pre-market. So on Monday, just because it's on Fox, it gaps up to like $3, like 300x of what I was short. And I cut the loss immediately at the open. I couldn't cut in. OTCs don't trade pre-market. So I cut it at the open, $11,000 loss. I was down to $5,000. And very devastating. And I'm like, man, this is crazy, man. Like, but at the same time, I was like, you know what? My life hasn't changed. I never was real. I wasn't living off that money. And I was like, that was a learning account anyway from 2000. It's like what I really need to do, like what I'm doing works. I can't be holding stocks overnight because of PDT. And also I can't be short stocks that don't trade pre-market. I can't get out. So I was like, this is a lot of reflection. So like, I was analyzing this loss at the same time feeling so much pain because this is like 2 years of work, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but I was like, you know what? This is like the resilience of a trader, you know what I mean? So I had that resilience in me. I was like, okay, no more OTC stocks, and I got to get over PDT. Trading is good. This was a black swan. Trading is good. This was a black swan. My trading does not suck. It was good. I just need to make these rules to protect me. And like the fun and games of PDT is over. I need to be over PDT. I've earned the rights. I've studied so much. Like, how many hours do I need of study time? You know what I mean? After a certain point, you got to step it up. You need to trade if you put 5,000, 6,000 hours in, you need to step it up. So I had a self-reflection. And then over the next 2-3 months, I didn't trade. I was still studying, but I was finding ways to gather funds together to get over PDT. And then after like 2 months, and I was still studying, I saw so much volatility, and the people that were in my community, they went from like 6 figures to 7 figures. Some people from 7 figures to crazy 7 figures. So I was like, and some people from 0 to 6 figures. So I was like, man, the time is now. Everything I studied for, uh, the 5 to 10 years on average is an opportunity. This is that opportunity. The time is now. I need to get over PDT. I know enough to. I see my peers. They're doing well. I need to give it a shot, because if not, I'm gonna regret it. I put in so much work. And now is the time. See, the thing is, now these days, the opportunity is not there. Like, if it would be 2025 and I would be like, okay, this is not the time. This is a bear market. It's kind of slow. There's not as much volatility. But 2020 was volatility. 2021 was volatility. So I made that correct decision, and it paid off. The rest of the year, I probably made like 100 grand, changed my life completely. I was from 0 to 100 grand. And then the next year, even more. And I ended up going to Puerto Rico, meeting some influential people for my trading, my own version of mentors. Started a podcast down there. And now, uh, all types of stuff going on. But yeah, that decision, it's like any entrepreneur like has that moment where they make a decision that sets them up their foundation to start from, you know? So that for me, it was that. It was the combination of deciding to short sell and sticking to short selling. And then second, deciding that like that big loss that I had, I was able to see the positives and see everything I was doing good and compartmentalize and like, you know, disregard the stuff that's not working or that didn't work, and stick to everything good, and then just honing in on that and seizing the opportunity. So yeah, so I give myself a lot of props for that. Yeah. It was tough. Yeah.
Wow. David's hard work paid off when the stock market was favoring his strategy during the pandemic. Timing and luck are needed, but fortune only favors the prepared minds. If he wasn't prepared for it, he wouldn't even realize that the stock market was favoring his style of trading during the pandemic. That's why he could fully capitalize the ideal market and elevate his growing curve. I have been saying this publicly since December 2024. 2025 will give us the best market conditions to sell options. Why? Because volatility and the downward market pressure are all in our favor as option sellers. These option sellers in our community are already showing their year-to-date ROIs as high as 20% year-to-date, when the S&P 500 dropped 12% so far. If you still don't know how to take advantage of the simple set-and-done option strategy, go ahead and watch my free beginner option trading playlist and book a free consultation call with me or my team.
Yeah. So a lot of viewers on my channel here are focused on blue chip stocks, a market cap over 20 billion. So when you talk about OTC, over the counter, we can probably talk a little bit about what that is, or like the short selling. Like, I think my followers are totally not following that, right? Now, for my viewers, they understand a risk management for us is a bit, in my opinion, a bit simpler. We buy low, sell high, want to hold the stock for long term. But how do you do your risk management when you're short selling? Well, maybe start with what short selling is for our viewers.
Yeah, so short selling. So I focus these days. I'm short small cap stocks. So you long $20 billion companies. Well, good news for you guys. I don't short those.
Yeah.
I'm out of your way.
We're trying to avoid you guys.
And so those are good companies. Most likely they're $20 billion for a reason. But I short 250 million market cap or less stocks.
Yeah.
I'm looking for blatant bad companies, scams, frauds. These are like the go-tos for me. I try to avoid high institutional ownership stocks, just real companies in general.
Yeah, they have a really short.
Yeah, yeah. So I look for little to no news for no reason on a bad company going up. That's great. Now, short selling is I'm borrowing a share from my broker, and then I'm shorting the stock and buying it back lower. I'm shorting it, anticipating it to go lower, and I buy it back lower. And that's when I capture that difference. So when the stock spikes up, ideally I'm short, and then it drops, usually a nice chunk percentage. Sometimes these stocks that I short, they go up. There was one the other day, went up 700% in one day. Can you imagine that? 700%. And
Never seen that on Apple.
yes, in one day. And a scam for no reason. And then it's not going to drop 700%, but from 700%, it can drop to 500%. That's a 200% back.
So how do we do risk management of those kind of stuff? Because,
Even if it go up 700% in one day, it doesn't mean the second day won't go up another 700%. So when you're shorting, right, and really looking at this strategy is that the downside, as low as it can go for the stock is zero, but as high as it can go up to infinite, theoretically. So how
Yes.
do you manage your risk management?
And this is a very important thing. So you have to have dollar stop amounts. I have a broker setting, a broker automatic liquidation. I put a certain level for that. For me these days, it's $10,000, and that doesn't mean it for everybody. It's $10,000. What you feel. It's what you feel comfortable as a day trader. This is for my version of trading. What you can recover in 2 to 3 days. I think that's the magic number. So wherever you're at in your trading, it's what you can recover in 2 or 3 days. For me, it's $10,000. I can recover that pretty easily with my skills and my knowledge and my capital. At this point, that's what it is. Um, and so first that, and then second, I have additional layers besides the broker liquidation for 10,000. I have a dollar position max size. So I have a max size amount per ticker. Sometimes it's $20,000 max size, depending on the market conditions. It fluctuates. So right now is a slower market. I'll cap it. I don't want to get too big on any position. So 20,000. And then also I have a max position size. So I'll have position sizes that range on the small side, if the market's slow, 5,000 shares, and on the large side, like 20,000 shares. I used to go a lot bigger, but now this is what I feel comfortable these days doing. You know what I mean? So it's like I'll have the max position size, max dollar amount position size, and then the max dollar amount I'm willing to lose. And then on top of that, short sellers, this is a very dangerous environment. Um, I consider myself like the gladiator of the stock market. It's like you're putting your neck on the line all the time. That's why I need to learn like the option strategies, how to grow, because like you can't be a gladiator for your whole life. You know what I mean? You're so but I gotta know a lot about technical analysis. I gotta know about like where the algorithms are, the little detail of the algorithms, the size, the iceberg order. I gotta know the market conditions, like the short inventory. They have all there's with short inventory, there's like locates that you gotta borrow, you gotta pay the broker a price to locate the share, then you locate it and then you short it. So I keep track of the locate inventory so that I can see how many short sellers are in the stock. Because if I see that inventory going lower,
Yeah.
that means they're shorting it more. So that
Yeah.
means it can squeeze more. So it's like I'm reverse engineering short interests, and I'm also like considering the news and the level 2 and the technical analysis. And then I have the safety nets of the risk management. But everything is really risk management, because like I can't just enter. I gotta enter when there's a backside indication, when the stock is safe. Like for example, I'm not gonna short the floats, the public float. If it's less than 1 million, the supply is too low.
Hmm.
So I
Because
gotta,
you can probably get in, but you can't get out.
yeah, the spreads are gonna be wide, and even if I cover, it's gonna squeeze.
Yeah.
And if there's too many, so it's like this really is like a yeah, art,
RA science.
high pressure environment, art, science. It's like it's insane. So like
It sounds insane.
everything is all risk.
It's almost like a control like a nuclear plant.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it really is. It's like a spaceship.
Suddenly you have a double redundancy, triple redundancy in case this fail. You don't have a Chernobyl.
Like that.
Oh my God.
And I have all the indications. Like I'm keeping track of the borrow fee rate. This is the overnight rate for shorting.
Yeah.
If that increases 100, 200% more, I'm like, uh-oh, there's more shorts, because it goes higher because there's more shorts in it.
Yeah.
And then I see the locate inventory depleting. I'm like, uh-oh, it's more shorts are in it. Then I see the float is 1 million, 2 million. I'm like, uh-oh, so then I see the stock squeezing, and then I see the certain algorithmic behaviors on the level 2. Like, uh-oh, there's algorithms in here. There's a predatory short squeeze algorithm here. Uh-oh. And then I'm like, should I cut this loss now? I think it's gonna go to the max loss. I better cut it now. So like everything is like risk management. It's like really like a spaceship monitoring.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my life, man.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm sure there's a lot of people that will drown to that, maybe because of, just adrenaline, or just because there's a big rewards once you figure it out and continues to be at the top of your game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I love it, man. I do a lot of supplements and the brain supplements, vitamins. I started taking hydrogen water. I'll do a cold plunge in the athletic club. It's like it's
The Wire. You're turning the Terminator
the Terminator.
with that platinum in the brain. Wow.
But I didn't get into this because I loved. I didn't know what it was when I started. This is just like it fell on my lap.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't like see it like, oh, I know some people get into it from gaming.
Yeah.
They're gamers. They do all this. They can do that stuff naturally because they've done it with gaming. That wasn't me. I just kind of learned it on the fly.
So now that after your intense trading of turning off your Terminator, what do you do after trading, after hours? What do you do for fun?
Well, I like the Lakers. I like to watch the Lakers and the Dodgers. I used to play a lot of baseball growing up. I think a lot of my work ethic skills come from sports. I played baseball in community college and for the first like 20 years of my life. So it's like and like now I get to enjoy like the Dodgers, man. The Dodgers are good. They're with Shohei Ohtani. So I also love to do things that help my trading. So for me, it's like I like doing videos, going over my trades. So my version of journaling now is doing videos. And now I do videos for the Friendly Bear University, which is my YouTube channel, Friendly Bear. That's where it all started. Then as I started to grow, I was like, you know what? Let me start a university to teach people uh the skill that I learned and the mentor that I wish I would have had when I was starting out. So I was like, that's how I designed it. And and it helps my trading because now I'm more accountable. I got to be an example to people. And then I got to do videos because they're depending on me to do videos. So some days if I don't feel like doing it, I still got to do it. I got to review my own trades even more, do and I love analysis. So now like I get a double and triple down on my own analysis and then on that has led me and then also the podcast was I love doing the podcast too because I get to talk to traders and people from all walks of life, authors, uh financial experts, high performance people. I've talked to brain scientists on my podcast.
Thanks for sharing your experience about your love for baseball, Dodgers, and all that. Right now, we're sitting in a very unique office you're in. I know you do trading here, right? I heard you're gonna write a book already in process of it, right? So why do you choose this location? Because we're sitting in the downtown of LA, US Bank Tower, right? And this is a very unique room. It seems like we close the door, you're in your own space. How has this place helped you? And why do you choose this place to do what you do?
Yeah, and I love it here, man. So the book that's coming out, actually I was signed to Harriman House, very notable financial publisher. Um it's all these things have built up to this. So it's like the podcast led me to meet certain individuals and expose me to writers and authors, and then it led me to being signed by a publisher, learning how to do all types of writing, like proposals and stuff. Anyways, another world. But this office in my book, there's a chapter. It's called little sneak peek here, Fortress of Solitude. So it's a fortress of solitude, and I go over every little detail of like all my computer specs and all the stories behind everything. And the book is about other things. Like there's strategies in there. There's all types of stuff. But one chapter is Fortress of Solitude. It's not a big chapter, but it means a lot to me. So like Superman had the Fortress of Solitude, um, where he would go. The story, and you would go there and like contemplate and like think
Yeah.
and stuff. So this, first of all, everything started here. So like I would when I moved in here in 2020, I had like nothing to my name. I had like couple boxes of belongings and that was it. I was starting fresh.
Good. No
And
burden.
no burden. And I just wanted to focus because in my head there was like all these doubters. I kind of exaggerated it, but in my head, the voices were nonstop. Like, you should go back to architecture. What are you doing? Like my dad, like my mom and my friends and family and my colleagues. Oh, David's crazy. He had a brain operation. He's now doing trading. You know, what is he doing? He's gambling. He hasn't, so, and he's going to fail. You know, you shouldn't do that. You know, so like I had all these voices. And so I was like, I need to go somewhere where I could just lock myself up in a room, literally, and just study trading. And that is like and then I imagined it like Superman, the fortress of solitude.
Yeah.
And so this office opened up to me. This is the exact room I started in. It just was bare walls, nothing in here. There's no windows. And I had no idea that I was gonna have a podcast in the future. I didn't know. So I just so I took it, and it's in the US Bank Tower, a beautiful building. In the middle of COVID, I got the best rate ever. The building was basically empty in COVID. And I just it is exactly what I imagined it to be, the fortress of solitude. And it was a vacuum where I can focus. I didn't have anybody telling me anything. I could just close the door, study stocks. And I did that. And then as I made money in COVID, I would like, you know, buy a better computer, buy books, all those books. I was like, I want to make a little library for myself. And then eventually, it's crazy how life comes full circle. In Puerto Rico, I had a podcast, started the podcast, The Friendly Bear. And then then I thought, I still kept this office because it was a long-term lease, and it was a good price. And I was making already above six figures trading. And I was like, you know what? That office has no windows. It's the perfect podcast studio.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I was
Yeah.
like,
You control the life.
I'll put the panels up and I can trade in there, and that'll be the Friendly Bear Podcast studio. So then when I came back from Puerto Rico, I would come back every 6 months, every 2 months or so for the weekend, a couple days to organize things and errands and stuff. And I'll put the panels up. And it's turned into the perfect studio. And then after COVID, they opened up the building, like more amenities. And now I get to enjoy the amenities. And now the building's like really nice. It wasn't as nice before. They were renovating it. And but I still keep it because not only does it remind me of like where I started, it's a constant reminder of like how much I grinded. Um, and where I'm at now, I never lose sight of that. But also, like, when I close that door, I'm locked in, you know? So like, for example, in my apartment, um, a few weeks ago, there was another flood. The building, I don't know, it's the second time it
Pipe
flooded.
burst or something.
Yes, it's crazy. And then, but it didn't affect my trading at all because I just walked it. So it's like I diversified, you know? So like I come here and I trade, I made money. Just that 2 weeks alone was worth the office rent for the next 2 years because I made money during those 2 years. So it's like, and then look, I get to invite people to do podcasts now. It's like, yeah, no, the office is great. People used to ask me all the time, "Well, you can just trade from home," you know? It's like, but like, man, I like the setup.
I know you're an expert and you have a lot of experience in short selling. And you know, you're right now you're 40. You get to the age where you're thinking, can you do this for the long term? Right. So are you looking at other trading strategy that's less time and physically exhausting and maybe something that's more short, medium, or long term that you're looking at right now?
Yeah, you know, so this part of my life, of course, like you got to think the next 4, 5 to 10 years, you know, so and then beyond. So I'm thinking, yeah, for sure, the level of trading I'm doing now and the active part of it, that's not good for 10 years. In fact, you shouldn't be doing in 10 years what you're doing now. You know what I mean? You got to keep evolving. And as you grow financially, other opportunities are going to show up that makes more sense. Now, for me, it's about like diversifying, not making my life completely trading, you know? It's like I used to just have all my net worth in my trading account, wake up at 4 in the morning Eastern and trade till the after hours every day. And, you know, I didn't, after a certain point, I noticed I didn't perform as well because like I had just too much money. And so that's why I need things to keep me busy outside of trading. It's like, well, I'm a human being. I want to make a dent in the world. You know what I mean? So like, I started the Friendly Bear University. writing the book. By the way, the book is completely done. So we're working on the color design now. We're working on you're going to see a bunch of marketing, Harriman House. They know what they're doing. So it's done. And so now I'm an author. So now I have the skill to do more books. I love it, by the way. It's awesome. And so now, and then we're talking about real estate in the other video. And of course, in the past, so last year I dipped a little bit into the hedge fund world. I was managing a fund for a bit, but I decided to take a step back. I was like, wait, this is a lot right now. And I decided to focus on the book and increase more production in my podcast and focusing on the Friendly Bear University and all these things. But eventually, I do want to go back into the manage a fund. I want to get into some real estate investing. These option strategies that you talk about, it make a lot of sense. So if you have a lot of money, a safer strategy, $500,000, you grow 1-2%. Hey, that's cool. This is the things that you need to do. Like for what I was able to do, 29K to 1.5 million, like I can't keep going at that same, like 1,000% gain in a year. 2 years is ridiculous with more money. So like, there's just different levels to the game. And, this is what it is at this point. So yeah, I'm looking to always expand, hedge fund world, go more into authorship. I want to publish at least like 5-10 books, yeah, 5-10 books.
I don't even have one.
Yeah.
Maybe we should hook me up one.
Yeah, we can definitely work on that. So I just opened up like a corporation like recently for a publishing, my own publishing company.
Yeah, I know nothing about it.
Yeah, I can help you out. So, yeah, but like I definitely just want to, just expand and just do things that I love, and then also make money in different ways,
So thanks for sharing all your journey, where it gets to where you are right now. So if you look back, what would be the top 3 advice that you give to yourself, or maybe your younger self, or the viewers are watching this video?
Yeah, the first thing is to get financially literate. I think that's just very important. Um, I wish I would have known in high school, like just basic stuff. Because when I was in high school, actually, while I was focused on fantasy baseball, I used to be obsessed with it, going back to the Dodgers
Yeah.
baseball.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with fantasy baseball, statistics, and just like kind of trading a little bit with fantasy baseball.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it was the dot-com mania, 1989, 2000, and then of course the dot-com crash. So if I would have been kind of aware, I'm not saying I would have traded it because I was in high school, but I wish I would have been aware. I was completely unaware. And I think, because I know, I used to tutor kids in Beverly Hills, rich kids, that it was tutoring paid better than architecture, back then. And those kids, they knew about the stock market, they knew about crypto, they knew about Bitcoin, they even knew, this is like, I remember like a 7th, 8th grader I was tutoring. He started a business to sell Pokemon cards. His dad opened up an LLC company. He got an EIN number. He's talking about with his friends with his little high pitched voice. Hey, do we have enough margin? You have to cover the cost of this and the overhead. This is like a little kid. I was like, man, it's like I wish I would have known some of that, So, and just to be more aware of that, because if you're building credit, building business credit, learning about what the stocks are. I think I wish I would have known that earlier. Even in college, I go and give lectures now at the University of Florida, and like I noticed there are more, like a lot of students there, they're more aware of the stock. I think since 2020, they're more aware of trading and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just say the earlier you get, about this stuff, the better.
Yeah, totally agree. I can relate. I grew up in a family, only talk about we don't have enough money, but we don't talk about actually what money means is a tool. It doesn't make you better. It doesn't make you worse. It means that everyone needs it. But when you have enough, you have more option, right? So I wish I had more financial literacy when I was early on, because before I started making money, I have no feeling for money. My tuition was paid for because I was lucky that way for university, right? So that's why I have no debt.
compared to you have student debt. So that's what I thank my parents for. But I have no sense of money. And that really could have got me in big trouble, right? So I wish I could have learned a bit earlier and I'll make a lot better decision. Maybe I'll become a better entrepreneur. I'll think about, oh, should I pay $30,000 per year for my tuition? Or should I actually get something that really makes me money, where I take a gap year, learn from someone who's actually doing it? Then I don't have to pay 120K. Maybe I put in a down payment on a house that
Well said.
quadruple it. Things like that. Right?
Exactly what I'm talking about. You nailed it right there. Yeah. So it opens up the world. You're able to understand it and like make these and think about it, because you have no feeling for it. Like I used to get parking tickets and be like, I didn't care, and like I just signed the paper to go to school, the financial aid. Hey, here you go, turn it in. I don't even think about like
The impact
business.
of it.
Yeah, the
Right?
impact.
Yeah, the first advice of a financial literacy hit home for both of us. Can you give us 2 more advice?
The second advice, okay. Um, the second one, I think I did well. It's like traveling at a younger age in your 20s is very important. Learning cultures, and it's going to help you out in life. Anytime you get a chance to travel, even if it's seems like a big expense or something, or compared to what you got, I think it's good to take the leap forward. It's gonna open up a lot of doors and open up your mind for the future. I think that's a good one. The third one, always keep track of your health. I think this is a must.
Yeah.
Health, like without health, you don't have anything. So, you got to keep track of your health, drink a lot of water. You say, it's like, uh, just do exercise, uh, go to the doctor every once in a while, get a checkup, because like that tumor actually that I had was growing in my head for 10 years. And I didn't know. So, get your checkups, just take your health, you never know. But the tumor I had was one in 50,000 people get it. So it's like, don't think every headache you got is like, oh my God, the tumor. But you just keep track of your health. Health is so important. And, it's like, yeah, these days there's a lot of stuff, we can live a long time. You got the Brian Johnson guy, I don't know if
Yeah.
you follow him,
Yeah,
so
follow him.
yeah.
Not that I agree with everything,
Yeah.
but I try to a certain degree, try to
Yeah.
follow it.
Certain degrees
Right.
too,
And thank him for using his own body to test a lot of these stuff. Of course, there's a business plan behind it, but there's still a lot of free value, just like our YouTube video, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I try to, keep track of
That's why we're wearing Whoop, right? I'm wearing Whoop for you asking
I
me
have
how
a smart bed.
I have two watch like this. Yeah.
They track me, one's for sleeping, one's for steps, and one's for
Yeah. They're all good at different things, just like both of our strategy. Fits different people, no perfect strategy, no perfect watch.
yeah.
And you just try to find out what works for you.
But yeah, health, travel, and financial literacy.
So thanks for all the advice. Now, where can people find more about you?
Okay, so you can find me on my YouTube channel, Friendly Bear Podcast, or The Friendly Bear. Also Instagram, reverse long, Twitter, reverse_long. And I'm just David Capablanca. Do a Google search, you'll see a bunch of stuff pop up. Can't miss it.
Thank you. So what's your biggest lesson for our conversation? For me, I'm very impressed by David's self-discipline and risk management approach, because I have tried day trading many years ago, and just say in the beginning, I failed miserable. But as you have heard from this millionaire trader, the key to success is to find a niche that works for you. For me, option selling changed my life and helped me leave my 9-to-5 corporate job. Click this video to listen to my interview on David's channel, where I share my side of the story.